So I actually, when I was deciding to go to school, obviously right after high school, 17 years old, right? My mom was a DCF worker, and I remember going to her job, and they had the cubicles, and I was just like, this is not for me. I cannot see myself sitting in a corner in a room full of all these people in a little cube, you know? So I was like, okay, what else is out there? Well, I was not going to be a doctor, so I knew I wasn't going to go that route. And what else was always caught my eye was the criminal justice system. I used to watch Cops with my dad, you know, so I was like, all right, let me focus on the criminal justice. Maybe I'll be like a probation officer. Mind you, I was 17, so like, you know, I mean 18. So then I got my bachelor's in criminal justice, and then I decided to move to Miami. I actually wanted to go to school down there, and my mom got in a car accident, so I ended up staying here, and I just went to school locally. And then when I was done, I had that niche. I'm like, oh, like I want to go, I want to move. So I actually moved down to Florida, and I was out there for a year, and then I decided to move back home. And obviously, at that time, I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then 23, 24. So when I came back home, I had, and mind you, when I was in college, all my work history was all bartending or bottle service, because I got into the nightlife industry because that was fast money. So while I was working full time, I was bartending. And then also when I went down to Miami, I was also working in a club too. So when I was like 24, 25, I'm like, okay, Chris, go back home. You know, I have no family down in Florida. I had fun, met some great friends. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back home and figure out what I'm going to do, because I'm not doing nothing with my degree. So I moved back home, and I had a very hard time trying to find a job with a bachelor's in criminal justice. And then I finally was able to find a job as a life skills coach and a community mentor with adolescents and adults on the autism spectrum. So I started working in that. So I was doing that part-time, and then I found a full-time position. At this point, I had exposure, right? So then I found a full-time position working as an ABA therapist in the school setting. So then that is how I started getting into ABA, and then I fell in love with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you progress the ladder? And then they were like, well, you got to go get your master's to be a BCBA. And then that's how I started. That's how I transitioned.